How can I be better than yesterday? How can you be incrementally better than you were yesterday?
Welcome to the Words of Wisdom podcast. This is the place to be to raise the consciousness within in order to create a life and business of ease, flow, and freedom. This podcast offers inspiring stories, strategies, and special guests to help you become your most aligned self. I am Minerva Maharaj, a former NBA Toronto Raptors dancer turned ICF accredited spiritual life coach, founder of Goddess of Wisdom Spiritual Life Coaching, and Star Seed Academy coach training. My soul's mission is to show you the impossible is truly possible. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's get to awakening your soul's wisdom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Words of Wisdom. Happy New Year. I know we're a few weeks into the new year, but this is the 111th episode of Words of Wisdom. And I'm so thankful that you have been joining me here, whether this is the first time or you've been listening for a while. I am so grateful you are here, and thank you for all your support that brings us here to the 111th episode. I think it's divinely aligned that the topic I'm going to talk about today is the 111th episode. And if you're spiritual like me and believe in numbers, angel numbers, it is about alignment, it's about manifesting and being pure and intentional about what it is that you're thinking and wishing for, so that you bring that manifest into your life. So first of all, Happy New Year, and I hope it's going well for you. Last year, I don't know about you, but I've mentioned before, last year took me through the ringer. We survived, we made it. And this year, there's a refresh of energy for sure. And what I want to share with you today is to help you if you've been feeling in a space of, okay, it's going to happen. You have that refreshed energy, you have that zest for life, you have that pep in your step, you're motivated, you have that vision, you now see where all the pain and the tribulations are leading you to. You can see that it was there for a purpose. But you also notice that there's still more to do. You may feel there's just so much further to go. Even though you are taking those steps, even though you are feeling reignited and alive again, even though you're passionate about your mission, your vision, where you're going, you know what you're doing, and it all feels good, but you may have a moment of like, man, there's still some way to go. And I'm talking from experience. I literally had this conversation with my husband like a few nights ago. And it was like, I feel good. I have this vision. I could see my goals. I could see the way clearly. The energy, everything just feels aligned. But I also realize that it's going to take some time. And that is something that I have now come to peace with and come to terms with, that some things do happen quickly and some things take much longer. And you need to be that fighter and to be that powerful woman who's created the empire, whatever your vision is. To create the things that you want to create, you need to have respect for the process. You need to be at peace with the divine timing of it. Not your timing and how fast you want it to happen or how slow things are going in your point of view. You need to be at peace with the process. And one of the things that could trip you up with that is not seeing the results right away. And it's tricky because you can see it and feel it before you can see it and feel it. Hopefully you're following me. So to give an example of this, I can see and feel my next level. The plan is laid out, as I mentioned. I have the steps, I have more clarity. I feel like I'm not in that like muddy, dark space. Came out of the void, I should say. And whether you still feel like you're still in that space, perhaps this tip I'm going to give you today will help you with that. One thing that can make the process easier for you, and I think I was making so much harder for myself, that I want to share with you, is how do you keep moving? This tip is going to show you how to keep moving from a place of believing before you're seeing. How to keep moving from a different energy, and not like that fake energy of like just keep trucking, just keep moving, don't give up. And there's moments you're just going to have to give yourself that pep talk and put your big girl pants on and keep going. But that shouldn't be your everyday. What if every day you woke up with that joy and zest in your step? That joy and zest in your life, that even though the thing that you want to manifest in your life hasn't fully formed and shown up in the physical yet, you still have this deep knowing and connection in your heart that it is happening and that it is here. And so, not from a convincing fake it till you make it place, but from a place of knowing, deep connected knowing, it is here. I am here and I am at peace with it. I'm at peace with the process. So let's get into it. This is a habit that I've just recently started trying on. I've been doing it, not realizing I'm doing it. And recently I now put it into like a formula, you could say, into a habit that I am committing to. And in just a short amount of time, even by just formalizing this habit in my mind and in my daily schedule, I have felt a shift. So, what is this habit? This is called incremental shifts, okay? How do you drastically improve your results? How do you start seeing results, okay, before you see it? How do you feel it before you see it? So I want to introduce to you incremental steps, incremental wins. Start making incremental changes, small incremental changes, and start celebrating the incremental wins. Okay? So what does that mean? This could be applied, by the way, in your finances, with money, in your business, or in your home life, with your kids, or your relationship with your husband or your partner. Just take a topic. I'll take social media, for example. So for me, I've been on top of the social media. The past year, we've been pretty consistent, me and my assistant, but I write it and she posts it. She helps me with it. And it just wasn't working. It didn't feel like it was working. It became one of those drudgery things that I didn't really want to do anymore. And I was just sort of like, let me just step back, which I did over the holidays. I stepped back. I'm like, let me just really reassess. Let's see what's going on here. And I really want to come at it with more intentionality, with a strategy, and with joy. I do not want to do anything and put my energy into anything that drains my energy. So it was starting to drain my energy. So I just needed to step back and reassess. And now I'm in a new space where I'm so excited to do this. Like it literally started pouring out just by implementing this habit. So I now looked at my one social media post. So I looked at a few, but I took one and then I asked myself, okay, that was pretty good. From when I started back and I started writing again, it felt really good. And then I looked at it the next day with fresh eyes and I asked myself, how can I make this 20% better? Just 20% better. How can I make this incrementally better than it was yesterday? And then from there, I got my answer, I tweaked it, I tried something on, I did it, and that felt good. And then the next day, working from there, how can I make this 10% better or incrementally better? Pick your percentage. Okay, it could be 5%, 10%, 1% better. It doesn't have to be big. It's incremental steps. What feels good to you? The minute it feels too big of a stretch, it's going to feel heavy. You're going to go back into despair and defeat. It's not working. You're going to go down that spiral of that negative talk. And that's often why we go into that. It's not happening. It's not working. I'm not getting anywhere. Is because we're expecting such big leaps to happen, such big results to happen. We expect a mountain to grow that we just started building. And you don't build mountains, but hopefully you're getting my whole analogy here. But we expect a whole mountain to grow from a mound that we just planted yesterday or a month ago or even last year. And that's where we fall into defeat. That's where we fall into despair because we have these expectations about ourselves. And we do this, not that you just do it once, but sometimes you just do it once and expect it to just work, versus looking at the incremental changes, looking at the incremental shifts, the incremental growth steps that you have taken, that you've experienced. And we go so long and far without acknowledging that and without looking at that with intentionality and looking at it realistically. What's really going on here? What can I do? And maybe your question is just this. How can I be better than yesterday? How can I be better than yesterday? A better boss, a better leader, a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, a better daughter. Apply it to anything. But how can you just be incrementally better than you were yesterday instead of this big whole leap of being better, of seeing results? So for me, when I thought about it, if I was just 20% better than I was yesterday, in about a week, I'll be 100% better than I was last week, right? Doesn't that just like logically make sense? So imagine if you were just 5% better a day, 10% better a day, 10% better at work, 5% better at your social media, 5% better at recording videos, 1% better at customer service. Within a matter of time, you build, it snowballs, it builds. Then you get that mountain. Then you're on the mountaintop and you look back, you look down and see how far you have come. But how often are we moving forward and not looking back and acknowledging all of the steps and all of the growth that we have experienced? So what would it be like if you started acknowledging these shifts? Start taking steps with intentionality, with purpose, but just being more conscious and mindful of what you are doing and how you are doing it and who you are being. Because it's with that, with those micro shifts, celebrating those micro wins, and you can go back and say, oh, look what I learned. Look what I did differently today in my business, in my writing, in my blog, on my website, if you have a business, how I speak to my employees, how I handled this situation with my kids. And when we have these big expectations, we say something like, okay, I'm never going to yell at my kids again. Tomorrow I'm going to do better. And then of course they come, you're overloaded, you're overstimulated, they're all screaming at the same time. And then you snap and you're like, oh, I'm such a failure. I'm a bad mom. Because we have these big expectations and have these expect these big leaps out of ourselves versus making these small changes. I even remember in like Cocomelon, I have a 4-year-old, and there's the tortoise and the hare, and who won the race? The tortoise, right? It's never the hare. Well, I shouldn't say it never is, but what is more sustainable? Who is most likely to win it more often than not? It's the tortoise because of the small, steady steps. So it's okay to be the tortoise. It's how are you feeling on the race? How are you feeling down the path as the tortoise? Are you judging yourself? Or are you acknowledging yourself? Are you celebrating yourself? Are you celebrating what you have learned, what you have done, the steps you have made? Are you celebrating the mistakes? Because let me tell you, that's actually where my biggest learnings and shifts and most propelling steps have occurred for me, is from my mistakes. So I really hope this episode resonates with you. The habit to implement is incremental steps. Choose a number from 1 to 20%. I want you to start small. 1%, 2%, 10%, 15% a day to be better at. And choose one area of your life just to start. And ask yourself, how can I be 10% better than I was yesterday? In your money, in your business, in your career, in your relationships, at home. How can you be 10% better than you were yesterday? And in a short while, you're going to be 100% better than you were a month ago. Then it just keeps multiplying. You'll be a totally different person by the end of this year. So make those incremental steps, and don't forget to acknowledge and celebrate that every single day and at least every week. What were the incremental steps you made this week? And that's what's going to build your mountaintop. I really hope you enjoyed this. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so excited to share all of this with you all because I feel like I have a new direction, a new focus for you. I'm here to serve fearless female leaders who are ready to build generational wealth, a greater impact, and more time, space, freedom without doing more. And so I'm excited to also share with you that I have now opened up a new space called Soul Space Monthly Moon Circle, I should say. I'm not even going to edit that out because that's really funny. But it is a cycle too, but Soul Space Monthly Moon Circle. And what this is a space, a home for powerful women who know they are powerful, that need a space to reset their energy and reconnect to their infinite abilities. Because you've created some amazing things, you're ambitious, you keep moving forth and you're not going to stop, but you do need a space where you can come back inward to connect to your powerful abilities, to create life with more intentionality, with a clear, pure energy, and know that you are the creator, you are the magic, and to stop looking outwards and start looking in. It's just $25 a month or $125 for 6 months. Join us. We start next week, January 25th, and we'll be meeting monthly, and we will be channeling messages from the universe. I will share with you what's going on with the planetary energies and how that affects your manifestations. We're clear what you're ready to release and reconnect and reactivate your power and walk away with your next divine steps of what is aligned for you to create the life and business you want. It's just $25. Check out the show notes for the link, and I'll see you there. Send you all so much love and light.